From taking home an impossible World Cup to his impressive calendar year, this is why Lionel Messi deserves the Ballon d'Or over Erling Haaland. One of the hottest topics in the football world right now is the Ballon d'Or award. If you're a football fan, you know how big of a deal this is, and this year it's a super tight competition. I mean, on one hand, you have Lionel Messi, the same Messi who's been ruling the football charts for the past 15 years or so. The man's consistency and longevity in this sport are honestly awe-inspiring. To think that he's still in the running for this award, almost a decade and a half after clinching his first one, is truly a testament to his brilliance. But, as legendary as Messi is, he's facing some fierce competition this year from the young gun, Erling Haaland. Ever since Haaland made his big move to Manchester City, he's been nothing short of phenomenal. We're talking stuff like breaking the Premier League's goal record, winning the treble with City. Those are no small feats, especially in your first season with a new club in a different league. So then, why are so many people still leaning towards Messi for the Ballon d'Or? Well, it's not about dismissing Haaland's incredible achievements. No, it's about looking deeper into Messi's contributions and understanding his overarching impact on the sport. I mean, he did win the World Cup, didn't he? I know it feels almost surreal saying it out loud. For years, that World Cup trophy looked like a dream for Messi. Despite his success at the club level and his numerous individual accolades, the criticism, or what little there was, often circled back to his lack of international success with Argentina. But guess what? That chapter is closed now. The argument is simple. At 36, Messi's not only answered his critics, but also stamped his authority as arguably the greatest player ever to grace the football pitch. And I'm not the only one saying this. Even Brazilian legend Ronaldo Nazário has thrown his weight behind Messi for the 2023 Ballon d'Or. Coming from a former Real Madrid forward and someone who knows a thing or two about winning big, this is a massive endorsement. He specifically pointed out Messi's exceptional performance at the 2022 World Cup as the defining factor. And honestly, can we blame him? 7 goals, 3 assists, and who can forget that stellar performance in the final against France? Those 2 goals and that nerve-wracking penalty. If there were any lingering doubts about his claim to the Ballon d'Or this year, that final performance should have laid them to rest. But if they don't, I've still got a ton of other reasons. Because here's the thing, Messi winning the World Cup with Argentina at 36 is wild. I mean, most players at that age are probably thinking about hanging up their boots or maybe moving to a less competitive league. But not Messi. He's out there leading his national team and not just being part of the squad, but being the best on the field. And speaking of being the best, can we talk about that Golden Ball award he got? For those who might not know, that's the award for the best player in the whole tournament. So Messi wasn't just key for Argentina. He was the standout player among all the talented footballers at the World Cup. That's huge. After moving to Paris Saint-Germain, there were whispers going around. Some people thought his best days were behind him, especially after a shaky first season in France. But as always, Messi proved the doubters wrong. Big time. With 16 goals and 16 assists in 32 league appearances, Messi was in scintillating form and reminded just how good he still is. Now, as much as all this matters, Messi has done something no other footballer has ever managed to achieve. He's bagged the World Cup's Golden Ball award not once, but twice. Back in 2014, he dragged Argentina to the World Cup final and took home the Golden Ball. Fast forward to the recent World Cup, and he did more than just lead his team. He helped them clinch the title, scoring 2 pivotal goals in the final. And as the icing on the cake, another Golden Ball for being the standout player of the tournament. Just think about that for a second. 2 World Cup tournaments, both 8 years apart, and Messi shines the brightest in both. That's consistency. But let's give credit where it's due. Haaland at City? Exceptional. His impact and performances have turned heads, and there's no doubt he's been a revelation this season. But, and here's the big but, when we're talking about the Ballon d'Or, we're looking at the all-around game, both at club and international levels. Messi's year has been nothing short of iconic. Trophies with PSG and then leading Argentina to that World Cup win. That's the stuff of legends. I mean, winning the World Cup isn't just any feat. And Messi wasn't just part of the team, he was instrumental. Compare that with Haaland, who through no real fault of his own, didn't even get to play in the World Cup because Norway didn't qualify. Yes, he's been incredible at City, but Messi's been world-class for both club and country. It's like comparing apples to oranges in a way, because in football, the biggest stages demand the biggest performances. And this is where, if I'm being honest, Haaland has somewhat faltered. 3 big finals, the Community Shield, the FA Cup, and the almighty Champions League. The spotlight was on, but we didn't see the Haaland we've become accustomed to. No goals in any of those finals. It's the complete opposite of Messi, who rose to the occasion in the World Cup final and scored 2 massive goals to take the trophy. The stats speak for themselves. 41 goal contributions in 41 games for PSG. That's 21 goals and an equal number of assists. And let's be real, if Neymar and Mbappe had capitalized more on Messi's creative genius, that assist tally would have skyrocketed. Mind you, this is with Messi adjusting his play style, leaning more into a creative role rather than just being the guy who always nets the goals. And I'll say this again. Yes, Haaland is good. Heck, he's pretty great. He scored 52 goals in 53 games for crying out loud. But Haaland's role is primarily as a poacher. He's the finisher, the end product. Messi, on the other hand, often creates the opportunities, orchestrates plays, and still manages to score. Even in the Champions League, where PSG didn't shine as brightly as hoped, Messi put in the work, with 4 goals, 4 assists, and 3 man-of-the-match titles. Another point of divergence between the two is their performance in crunch situations. While Messi consistently brings his A-game in high-stakes matches, like that brace against France in the World Cup, Haaland sometimes falls short. In the FA Cup final, despite Man City's win, he didn't make a mark, and in the Champions League final against Inter Milan, he was unfortunately less than impressive. What it boils down to is this: Messi's playing style is incredibly versatile. He can score, assist, and control the game's flow, a trifecta of skills that not many can claim to possess. Haaland, though fantastic, relies a lot on his team to feed him opportunities. This year also saw Messi crowned the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year for the second time in his career. Now, the Laureus isn't just some yearly sports award. It's an elite recognition, honoring the creme de la creme across all sports. And this year, Messi took it home for the second time. He's the only one to have won this accolade. We're talking about an award that's been claimed by the likes of Roger Federer multiple times, Lewis Hamilton, and even Tiger Woods. These are legends in their own right, giants in their respective sports. And here's Messi making history. Twice. That's not all, though. Messi also won this year's FIFA Men's Player of the Year award. And here it's not just about getting the award, but it's about who's voting. You see, unlike the Golden Boot, which is pure numbers, accolades like the FIFA Best, Laureus, or the Ballon d'Or are heavily based on expert opinions. Coaches, players, journalists. They look at a player's overall contribution and not just their scoring prowess. Messi's wins in these areas show that experts have recognized his all-around impact this year. Plus, there's been a significant change in the Ballon d'Or. France Football tweaked the voting process post Benzema's win. Now, instead of assessing a player's performance over the calendar year, the focus is on a player's season, both at club and national level, from August to July. This shift could inadvertently tip the scales in Messi's favor, especially considering Argentina's World Cup win in 2022. Summing it all up, the indicators point towards Messi possibly claiming his 8th Ballon d'Or. But the beauty of football lies in its unpredictability and the passion of its fans. So from his impressive calendar year to taking home an impossible World Cup, this is why Lionel Messi deserves the Ballon d'Or over Erling Haaland.